Good afternoon, Hope family. Happy Monday. I hope you're all having a good start to the week. As you can see, I've had a long day. I'm relaxing in my hammock. Elijah's out here joining me. High five. The dogs are around here running somewhere, so you might see them come into frame, or maybe not. But I had a quick thought I wanted to share with you, and I'll try and actually be quick. I know no one believes it at that point, but we're gonna keep this one short. The thought I had with you that I wanted to share with you today is just the timeline of change and the importance of being hungry for growth. And what I mean by that is there's a number of experiences I've had this last week or so that have kind of hammered home a point I've known for a long time, but just comes up and reminds you of it again. One of them, as a software consultant, I'm in and out of teams pretty quickly. This usually 6 to 9 months is a typical engagement, but this last couple months have been kind of whirlwind in and out. And I joined a new team last week, and without boring you with all the details, the goal with this team, they're trying to replace some members that are leaving the team. And pardon the airplane going overhead, I hope it doesn't make it too hard to hear. But they're trying to train up some new talent to take over the roles of existing members. And so they have a couple guys they've identified that they're starting to train, but in the meantime they need someone with experience who can come in and just keep things rolling while they're training up some of their newer resources internally. And in particular, the gentleman that I think they're trying to grow into the role more permanently is fresh out of college, or I think this may be a couple years out of college. And anyways, I was just noticing over this last week, we're both starting on the team at the same time. We're both exposed to the same, kind of shadowing the existing people doing the work, and we both gotten the same documentation that we've read through. But I'm hitting the ground running a lot faster than he is, and it's taking him more time to kind of get up to speed on some of these things, even though he's actually been there a little bit longer than I have. And that's not intended to be a knock against him. He's actually doing really well, I think, in the position. It's just highlighted to me again the value of experience. And you look at something like this, and it might seem like, wow, look at Jonathan's just picking it up really quickly. Well, what you don't see is that there's years and years of experience where I've picked up little things here and little things there. I've seen this problem several times, and I've worked in similar systems. And so the details about this specific one might change some, but the years of experience are helping me to pick it up quickly. And a lot of times we discount those years of experience, and it looks like something's going fast, and I am able to move fast, but only because I've built up a lot of time already that I can apply to this. And then another example of this kind of same thing was I was listening to one of my children practice their instrument, and I was listening to their lesson, and again, I've been playing music for a long time, and so I'm listening to their teacher talking to them and explaining what they're trying to get them to do, and then having them try to do it. And of course, there's an extra burden because we're doing it over Skype right now. And so, they explain the exercise that they want my kid to do, and then they ask them to do it. And, they go and she tries to do it, and she goes through the exercise, and I immediately notice, timing's off here. Really just, I noticed a ton of things to address. And the teacher only addressed one of them out of probably the 6 major things that need to be improved. The teacher only focused on one of them. And in my head, I was thinking, maybe I should talk to her afterwards and, help her with these other things so she can make progress faster. But, during the lesson, I'm not going to interrupt. And so I was waiting till they were done with the lesson, and I was just thinking about it as it was going on, and thinking, actually, no, I shouldn't interrupt, and I should just let her teacher go the way he's wanting to, because I almost fell into one of the classic traps of people who have already mastered something, and that is that you forget how hard everything is. And that's one of those classic things. If you're explaining something to somebody and you find yourself repeating the phrase, "Oh, it's not very hard. It's pretty simple. It's really easy. Let me show you." You might be falling into this trap. It's easy for you because you've already done it for a long time and you've mastered it. But it's not easy for them because they're building this as a foundation. And so her teacher was very wise in focusing on one thing and improving that one thing. And then once that one thing is improved, then we'll focus on the next thing and we'll improve that one thing. And these both point back to the same truth, and that is growth compounds. When you get better at something, it raises your base. And if you focus on just getting better in one dimension and make steady progress, then it creates a platform for increased growth in the future. And that small growth, incrementally over time, it builds and builds and builds, and before long, you've made a lot more growth than you thought you did because you've made a little progress every day. And in particular, I was thinking of 2 Peter in chapter 1, starting in verse 5, and I'm not going to quote it because I don't know if I can remember the whole thing from memory, but I want you to go and read it and think about it. And notice what Peter says. In the beginning of this is the beginning of his letter, but he reminds them of the good things that God has given and the blessing that God has given. And then in verse 5 he says that because of these things, add to your faith virtue, and to your virtue knowledge. And he goes on to list, and if you notice what Peter's doing, he's telling the audience he's writing to, here's the next thing to work on. And once you've worked on that, then work on this. And then once you've worked on that, then work on this. And so, I've kind of come to the point in my life where I'm able to share my love for the Word of God, and I'm able to share so many things that have been shared with me over years. But when I look back at all the things I know, it's the accumulation of many, many years. And so, if you've stuck with me this far, I'm keeping under 10 minutes. You can check the time. I'm wrapping up here. I just wanted to encourage you again and remind you that change is a process that takes place over a long period of time. And we overestimate, how much we're going to get done in a day, and we underestimate how much we're going to get done in a year. And so a lot of times we get discouraged because it doesn't feel like we made a lot of progress today. But if we can make a little bit of progress today, then if we can keep making a little bit of progress, then over a long period of time, it's amazing how far we go. And this is especially true in the spiritual. This is especially true, and this is why we should have a hunger each day to draw closer to God, a hunger each day to learn something about the Word of God, to pull something out of our daily reading, to glean something in our spirit that God is telling us throughout the day. Because if you can make a little progress every day, you would be amazed by where God takes you in 5 years. And I know I've said this in my sermons. I think I've used this example. I know people in my life that, come into the church for the first time, and I've seen this happen in the church I grew up in, where, you have a new convert who looks at these established saints and says, I don't know if I'll ever be where they are. I don't know if I'll ever have my life as stable as theirs are. And little do they know, those established saints they're looking at, if you go back 5 years, 10 years, they're in the same place that new convert is, where they were looking at people who were in the church, looking at what God had done. You will be amazed what God will do if you'll give him a year of your life, 5 years of your life. If you'll stick with it, the process, if you'll stay in his word, if you'll stay faithful to prayer and Bible reading and let him speak into your life, you will not recognize yourself after what he does in your life for the good. So that's what I just wanted to encourage you today. In the middle of all this, it can be easy to focus on the struggle, but focus on the results. If you make a little bit of progress today, if you make a little bit of progress each day, God will bless and he will multiply your efforts. And in the years to come, you will grow in ways you can't even imagine. I love you guys. We'll talk to you again soon. I hope you've had a wonderful week. Talk to you later.